Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Well, this is hands down my least favorite part of doing a conversion. I had to kind of stop doing the restoration of the Volkswagen because I ran out of welding gas last week. I didn't have a way to get more, and I could have got some Friday, but they closed about 5 minutes before I could have got there. So no welding gas, no welding, no more restoration. So I've moved on to other things, and this needed to be done. And what's going on here, this little whiz bang, this is the factory fuse block from the Volkswagens, and they are notoriously unreliable because they have these crazy little fuses. They're like little bullet fuses, and whenever you take these fuses out, sort of that copper strip sort of wraps around the edge of the bullet, I guess you'd say. Well, here I could probably pull it out. But anyway, the point of it all is that they're really kind of a pain in the butt. See, there we go. There's a part you do, and then that just sort of wraps around, and then whenever you shove the fuse into the holder, it has a tendency, to like lose connection, and that's really annoying, obviously, as you can imagine. So I'm getting rid of that thing. I'm going to get a more modern fuse block from, like, I don't know, Painless Wiring or Ron Francis or something like that. There's several different options that I can go from, but what I need to do is go through all this wiring, leaving some appropriate length pigtails so that I can tie into that wiring harness. In some of these, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than that, I think, because these are just sort of non-standard sort of switches, and they have non-standard terminals on them. But that is obviously the headlight switch, and then that plugs onto here, and then I've just gone through and figured out what all the wires are. Well, the two wires, of course, I pick out for demonstration, of course, don't have labels on them. But this whole jumble of wires right here, this is all my instrument panel wires. So like the signal that would have come from the fuel sending unit to the fuel gauge, not terribly important to me, but there is one for like glow plugs, and there's one for temperature, there's one for oil light, one for a battery, high beam blinkers, then the instrument panel lights themselves that I can repurpose for something else. Obviously the battery, I could use that to come on whenever it's plugged in, or when the charge cord is plugged in. Not necessarily when it is charging, but just when the plug is plugged in, so that I'll know, because I will have a safety in there that won't allow me to start it whenever it's plugged in. That way I don't drive off with the thing dangling, look like a fool. Stuff like that. And another interesting switch is the hazard switch, and it is this jumble of mess here. So that little light is the one that like flashes when the hazards are on, and then the rest of the stuff goes to it. But this is the back side of the hazard switch, and you can see it's got like all a resistor on there. This is the this is the part you're not supposed to see, because whenever I took that connector off to try and trace some wires, I ended up shooting this thing into a million pieces, so I got to get another one of those. Anyway, I think you get the point, what I'm trying to do here. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And yeah, it's just kind of a pain, but you got to do it. And every time I see someone on these EV groups saying that they want to do an EV conversion, and they've got this wonderful 2008 whatever that they think would be a really great car, I think about this, that they will have to go through something just like this, but much more complicated to get an integration in there. Now, I guess really you don't have to do this. If I didn't do a restoration, then I would have just kept the wiring harness in place, and then you can just sort of find the wires that you need and tap them into the new the conversion parts. You can do that, but I like to get everything all integrated and then all put together in one wiring harness, so it kind of looks like it was like that from the factory and meant to be there. that's how I like to do it. So in doing it that way, it just causes a little bit of extra trouble. But you know, that's my middle name. No, it's not. What else? Well, I can kind of show you this. This is sort of fun. Hold on. Yeah, let's go into the battery room here. I just got these. I've decided to go a different route with my battery system. Previously, I was going to use the whole 90 kilowatt hour pack from the Tesla Model S. I've decided to not do that. There's this company called EVE. These are really hard to get out. Hold on. Right. I don't know if the name of the company is actually EVE, but if you look on Google's for EVE, lithium iron phosphate cells, you'll find these little guys. And this is a 105 amp hour and 3.3 volt nominal. So you multiply it together, it's about 330 watt hours of energy per cell. And just for some comparison, these ones are brand new. These are about 10 years old. This is what I had in my Ranger, and it's also what I have right here at the moment, keeping the lights on. But just for some comparison of the difference in volumetric density of the cell, and likewise, watt hours per pound or kilogram or whatever you want to call it, just the energy density is greater, much greater. Now, as far as power goes, here's where I lose everybody. We got power, we got energy. As far as power goes, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of concerned because if you look at the size of these terminals, the part that actually makes contact with the connection is only this copper part, but it's really this is much bigger. So this is like I don't know, I think it's 6 millimeter, and this is probably 4 millimeter or something. Maybe that's 8. Anyway, the connection is going to be much smaller. I don't know if that's going to be a problem. Well, we'll find out. But anyway, that's just kind of a fun thing. So what I've got 102 of those. I bought 100 for the pack, but then I've got 2 extras. But I think I'm just going to have all 102 in it. It'll be fine. The motor's going to be able to deal with that voltage, no problem. And it's going to give me about 35 or so kilowatt hours worth of energy, as opposed to 90 kilowatt hours. The Tesla pack, let's go look at that some more. The Tesla pack over here is in that big box, that box there, that box there. All those modules together, all 16 49 volt, 16 25 volt modules. Each of those modules weigh about 52 pounds, and all 16 of them. By the time you've got the battery boxes and all that stuff, you're over 1,000 pounds worth of stuff, worth of batteries. And this little truck from the factory wasn't even 3,000 pounds, maybe 2,500 pounds from the factory. Well, if I take a 2,500 pound truck and then put 1,000 pounds worth of battery, that just seems wrong. And I've never really liked that idea. And these things are water cooled, so you got to have a whole coolant loop and a separate radiator and all that stuff. But those blue cells I showed you, the lithium iron phosphate, they are only going to weigh about 450 pounds as opposed to 1,000. So significant weight savings. And these are 90 kilowatt hours. Those other ones, like I said, are about 35. So, maybe a third of the range. This one was probably going to give me around 300 or so miles. Now, let's say it would just give me 300. If I go to those other cells, it's going to give me more than 100. It's going to give me more than a third, because I've just shed, 600 pounds. So I've got less rolling resistance and all that other stuff. So it'll actually be more efficient that way. And what I will do is the majority of the cells I'm just going to put up here in the front to simulate the weight of the engine. And then the remainder I'll just put in the back where I was going to put the other ones. And I will have a tremendous amount of room back there. What I'll end up doing is, since the only thing that's going to need to be cooled is the charger and the motor, I'm going to put the radiator in the back, sort of angle it, and put the radiator in the back, so it'll just be a direct coolant line from the It'll go from the motor through the charger into the radiator back to the motor again, and that'll be it. And that way, whenever I'm charging, it'll just do that same loop, and that's how it's going to work. So that'll be much tidier. Filling up the coolant reservoir might be a bit of a challenge. I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But that's what I've been up to. So a lot of stuff going on here. I got this probably 80% whooped. I still have to track down a couple more wires here and there. And I suppose I need to just get online and figure out which wiring harness I want to buy, and then just go ahead and do it, and then get it and have it, and then come up with a little bit of a game plan. But other than that, what else? I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. One issue that has come up, I'm not going to go there. So, all right then. Well, I feel like there's other stuff. Probably is. We'll talk about it next time when we can talk about it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.